Hey everyone, good morning. It's Facebook Live time. Hopefully everything is working properly, and we'll find out shortly. As people roll on in, I want people to comment so we could get started. I'm going to be discussing this business tool that I recently ran into that changed my life and my business life, and I must tell you about it. I'm very excited. I emailed the owner right away, and I'm just very excited to share with you. And then I'll be discussing why my Etsy shop failed. My second one. Good morning. So Becca says, I hear you and see you. That's great. Is the volume okay? Let me know. Yes, I mistakenly went live on my personal profile. I got nothing to say about that. So, but here I am. I started to notice something was up when people that I knew personally were showing up to my Facebook Live. And I'm like, are they in my group? But here we are. Good morning. Ugh, my hair is a hot mess. Okay. Good morning, guys. Oh my God, I'm so excited to share this tool with you. I'm gonna wait a few more minutes before I start on it. I chatted about it with my mastermind strategy members, and I just couldn't hold back. I emailed the owner, we chatted. I am absolutely in love with this tool. I threw away my old system immediately. I need to tell you about it because this saved me time, which essentially saved me money. My time is money, saved me a lot of headache. But more importantly, it saved me tons of time. And I want to share this with you just in case you use something similar. This is a much better method. And I put the link up above, but don't click it yet because I want to discuss what it is, and then you could understand what you're clicking, obviously. Hey, good morning. Okay, volume's good. You guys see me fine. Let me adjust this, bring it down. Okay, great. I sent out a Facebook Messenger alert letting you know I'm coming on. So here we are. I probably should have done a better job at my Facebook Live title, reminding people that if they do want to get an alert, they could sign up for one. I don't have that. So we'll just continue. Okay. So guys, hope everybody's doing well, first of all. I posted in the group checking in on everybody. And you can let me know down below how you're feeling, but I feel like since the big news fell upon us and the economy went, things starting to pick up, whether it's, maybe not extremely, but I definitely notice a difference in a positive manner. Can anybody comment below if the first time you experience a big drop, when you notice the big, negative happen in your business due to this virus, is it still exactly the same, or have you seen progress going up? Let me know down below. For my business, it's been going up. I think the biggest scare was when the stock market first went down. If you guys remember that day. I was still in New York at that time, but comment below if you're still experiencing the exact same slowdown. I'm just interested to see, and we'll get started. So what is this business tool that changed my life? I'm here to tell you about it right off the bat because you need to have this in your life. If you currently use bookkeeping software and you are happy with it, I'm going to explain to you why I don't use it, and you can make your own decision. You could kind of look at the reasons why I'm saying I don't use it and see how you feel about that. But I do have an alternative that has blown my mind. I used to do my own bookkeeping with an Excel document. I have a Excel document, Excel sheet that I use. I set it up a long time ago, many, many years ago. And it did fine for me. I was fine with it. And everything was done manually, meaning I put my own numbers in, yada, yada, yada. And there was some, formula set up in there to help add things up, whatever, basic Excel stuff. And that's great. However, I noticed that when I did bookkeeping, I usually do bookkeeping every 2 months. When I did bookkeeping, it would take me over a day. If I was like on top of things and nobody else bothered me in the workplace, I'd probably take less than a day. But nonetheless, it was pretty time consuming. And I like numbers, so I never minded it. I enjoyed it. I enjoy knowing where I am in my business. I'm a profitable business, so I don't mind looking at my numbers, all that stuff. But I have to call it like it is. It was wasting time. And let me tell you, before I tell you what the tool is, the reason why I don't use bookkeeping software, because you're like, Dahlia, if you're using Excel documents, use a bookkeeping software. It does all the fancy stuff for you, for the most part. The few reasons why I don't want to use it, and you guys can interject to see how you feel about that, or please consider it, is that the few members, not the few, many more than a few, that I have chatted with about it, have run into a lot of issues regarding it. These are these are systems, these are tools similar to Etsy or Amazon or any type of tool that you're using that functions on coding or whatever. These bookkeeping softwares have room for error. Of course, anything in this life does, even human error, everything. Okay, we get that. They have room for error. And I found that the errors that these bookkeeping tools, softwares were doing was very costly. Meaning it would either double count certain revenue, that sucks because then you'd be paying more in taxes, or it would not count certain expenses properly. It was pretty much in total, it would result in you paying higher taxes than you should. Now, how much more depends on the error, depends on a lot of things, but I didn't like that. Okay, I didn't like not knowing. I didn't like that I would tell my members that, hey, if you can use a tool like this, please audit it. Meaning, spot, what an audit is. You spot check, you double check certain things to make sure it works, but that doesn't mean it's 100% foolproof when you're auditing. But if you're, set on using this tool, make sure you're checking after it. But the first time you catch a mistake, you have to double check the whole thing, which is very time consuming. Annoying. Some people have told me that they use these tools and they figured out how to make it stop double counting and not counting things properly. Fine. I still don't trust it. That's me personally. And you don't have to listen to me. I mean, I don't know everything, okay? That's number one. But this is how I run my life, okay? I like control, and using a bookkeeping software that could result in many errors is not something that's in my control. So I've used Excel document for so long, and I decided, I reached out to this owner mid last year about her tool, had questions, etc. But since it was mid last year, and of course I'm busy, I'm always busy, I decided not to implement and start using that bookkeeping system that she has mid-year. I said, you know what, start of new 2020, I'll maybe use it. Well, 2020 came, I got busy, I had to leave overseas, the virus happened, craziness, right? And then I'm sitting here thinking, I have to do my first 3 months, not even 2 months, I have to do my first 3 months of bookkeeping. I was like, let me just get the tool and try it. So I put the link up above for you. It's an affiliate link. I reached out to the owner and I was like, I love your tool. Like, I love it. And I'll tell you more about it. But it is, and many of you are very familiar with this person, this tool. Many of you actually have it. It's the Paper and Spark bookkeeping worksheets, I guess you would call it. And I decided to download it, but purchase it and download it. And I downloaded the Etsy one, and you could add add-ons. So Etsy, and then I have Amazon. And I'll walk you through it. Anyway, so depending on what you have, she has many different worksheets. You can click the link above and see the different worksheets you have. But let me walk you through it, okay? I see comments. Give me a second and I'll read them. I'm just so excited about this tool. I have to tell you, because if you're doing bookkeeping manually or you're sick of your system, you have to get this worksheet, okay? Download the Etsy one. Beautiful. It was beautiful. And I was like, okay, how do I use it? I got a PDF when I first downloaded it. It tells me instructions, and it told me, here's some videos to follow. I was like, okay, I got a minute. Let me look at the videos, make sure I do everything right, and then going forward, I don't have to look at the videos ever again, right? Because you learn it, and then you're done. Oh my God. Oh my God. Many of you are students of mine. Many of you have courses of mine, and many of you have voiced your opinion about how well broken down they are, how I walk you through things step by step. You're never left, you're rarely left with thinking, how do I do this, or this is not clear, or whatever. Anyway, I saw her videos. She is so great at explaining and breaking things down. I was blown away. I was like, who is this? Who is this lady? Okay, let me make sure I'm not missing any comments about my volume. Okay, so, and I'll read all the comments in I promise. So she's so thorough, and it's done in a very concise manner. Okay, I can tell you something that I work on. I try my best to be concise, and I think my my trainings, the ones you pay for, the classes are. I think sometimes when I'm like doing Facebook Lives, I could be a little bit more concise, but I'm working on it. Hers are concise, thorough. You know what to do, how to do it. It's beautiful. Just take my word for it, okay? I was so impressed. Like, I want to be her when I grow up. Okay, that's how impressive it is. Anyway, many of you have the worksheet. You guys know. So I was like, okay, let me get through this, and I did, and I plugged it in, and then within minutes, I was done with my Etsy bookkeeping. Like, for 3 months, because I have to do 3 months worth, January, February, March, and I was like, okay, so maybe not within minutes, but maybe like 10 minutes, okay. And then I was like, okay, let me do Amazon. I purchased and downloaded the Amazon add-on, and I did it. And then that was even quicker. But I was like, holy smokes. It was fast, it was thorough, it was great. And I was like, okay. So then, now this is me particularly, guys, okay? Everybody's different. I have, and if you have multiple Etsy shops, you could make copies of that Excel document and name them for your different Etsy shops. Anyway, I have obviously revenue coming from my business coaching, you guys, courses, affiliate. What else do I have? Income. Oh, my .com. .com was easy. It was literally like plug and play. It was so easy. So I took her worksheet and I hacked it. It's not really hacked it. I just added a few different rows, but I did it properly so I don't mess up the formulas she has in there. I added a couple different rows, but she already has spaces for you to add different revenue streams. I added my .com, my business coaching, and my affiliate, and so you could customize it for yourself, and it was quick. Now, here's the cool thing. I watched her other videos, and I was like, okay, I have to put in, I get revenue that I get paid through PayPal and Stripe, okay? Anyway, I'm gonna make a very long story short. I watched her PayPal one. I did not buy the PayPal add-on because the way I do my revenue, I don't write PayPal revenue. I do .com revenue, and my PayPal gets money from my .com as well as my business coaching, so I didn't want to put them together. Anyway, you don't have to know the nitty-gritty. I just watched it so I understand how she uses the PayPal sheet and how she uses a CSV file that's downloaded from PayPal, and it blew my mind. I'm like, okay. So then I went in, I calculated my calculations for the PayPal fees, blah, blah, blah. I plugged it in. It was so quick, guys. I was blown away. Take my word for it. There's many members who absolutely love these worksheets. I was hesitant at first because I didn't want to change my system mid-year. Honestly, if I did, 6 months worth would have done less than a day. I was done so quick. I almost thought I wasn't done, okay, with my bookkeeping. Hold on. But I was. So I reached out to Janet. Her name is Janet. And I was like, yo, absolutely love this stuff. I have to tell my members about it. And then she set me up with an affiliate link. A huge fan. You guys know I don't promote anything unless I use it myself, or absolutely am a fan of it. I had to tell you about it because, and I don't know how many of you out there doing things manually, not currently happy with your system, paying somebody for bookkeeping. Amazing. That's all I'm going to say. And you have to test it out. That's all. It's not that much. It's not that pricey. I saved so much time. It was absolutely worth it. Okay. So that is that in a nutshell. Okay. Now let me read your comments because I just got overly excited for the morning, and me rethinking about my bookkeeping that I did last week just made me really excited. Like, I look forward to the next few months passing by so I could do bookkeeping again. It was so simple. Okay. Now I'm done. All right. So I asked you guys about sales compared to when you first noticed the big dip. How has it been after that? For me, it has been slowly going up. Okay, there it is. Okay, Britt says still slightly down. Okay. Heather says I started running a sale in my Etsy shop when I started to drop, and now I'm back up year over year. Okay, cool. Erica says seeing an upward trend. Okay. Having had a horrible 2 weeks in March, but going the right direction now. Okay, so I see some people starting to like recover slightly. Britt says that she is still slightly down. I'd love to know more about that. What does that mean? You know, what was your average days like when the news first big, you know, dropped or the market crashed or whatever? And then what are you doing now on average? Like, you know, sometimes when I ask these questions, it could be hard to gauge without looking at real numbers. So I encourage you to do so. And then if it's true, what are you doing different? Okay. Okay, Susan says mine is going up slightly. That's always good. Okay. Becca says my sales have skyrocketed these past 3 weeks. I cater to nurses. Well, there you go. Okay. I did a Facebook Live. Was it? No, I didn't do a Facebook Live. I recorded a video for you guys. Did you guys enjoy that video? Let me know down below. I recorded it on a Monday, gave it to you on a Tuesday. It was taking forever to upload. And to show you how to research certain things. I don't know if Becca changed what she was selling to cater to nurses and stuff, but nonetheless, I made a video to help you during this time. If you are in a market that is absolutely screwed at this time, what you could be doing to, you know, for income. Some of you are happy, not happy. Some of you are content with, okay, you know what? I'm slow right now. I'm fine. I'll deal with it until it goes back up. But for those of you who needed to make money, I made that video for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Probably should link to it in this Facebook Live as well. Cause somebody do me a favor. Cause somebody, cause my daughter's computer is slow as hell. Cause somebody go to our Facebook group, find that link I shared, the link to sign up to get the video, and post it in the comments. Cause somebody do me a favor, please. Carrie says sales have been up for me. Okay. Good morning. Slowly back up. People start to see, you know, slowly back up. Abby, I can't believe that you didn't use PNS before. Yeah, she's referring to the bookkeeping sheet. I know. Where I've been wasting time. I'm speechless when I use a system and I watched her videos. It's amazing. Guys, you have to get it. The link is up above. If you're doing bookkeeping manually or hate your current system, get it. It's amazing. It fries my mind. Anyway, so Deb says this last week has been nuts. The month started out 59% down from last year. This week was so busy. I am now up 17% over last year. It's been crazy. Interesting, Deb. If you don't mind to share, comment down below if you do mind. Then you don't have to comment. But did you change something? What do you sell? I think a lot of us would be interested to see. You know, obviously, we assume that you were down due to what was happening in the world, and you know, is it now because people are over it and things are starting to look up for you, or did you change something? Let us know. Abby says, I tried QuickBooks and couldn't stand it. I would bring in PayPal info ×2. Yeah, so frustrating. I noticed a lot of times, and some people were able to fix that problem, Abby. It's just too much headache to worry about. I didn't like it. And you have to pay monthly for QuickBooks? That's another thing, by the way, guys. You have to pay monthly for it? No. Listen, I'm not a stranger to paying for tools monthly. You guys know I did a Facebook Live a long time ago about the subscriptions I have and the ones that are worth it, etc. And I pay for it quite a bit. And not with this tool. You don't need it. I don't know. That's my opinion, and it's a very firm opinion. Kim says, I used the PNS for years. Her bookkeeping bootcamp is the only way I get things done. Love it. Brenda says, do you double check your Etsy and Amazon figures in another method, or do you use your downloaded figures? So I double check my Etsy ones with their CSV file. I do it the way Janet teaches me, the Paper and Spark lady. And then Amazon, no, I mean, the only way I could check is through their monthly statement. I sell so much on Amazon and on Etsy, but I can't go manually check each transaction. I can't. Hey, Okay, steadily increasing, but have increased ads. Excuse me. Becca enjoyed that video, love it. Kim is slightly up. No, I've always been catered to nurses, being a nurse myself. I know my market, love it. So in this case, you really gotta turn up the volume, Becca, right? Okay, Karen says my in-person events are still on hold, but my online sales are a bit up. Okay, yeah, in person, we know that. That's a very tough thing to deal with. But I'm glad to see a majority of us are slowly starting to see an increase. I'm honestly, like, in my heart very happy, because I know when it first dropped, I was immediately worried about many of you. You guys know that I mentioned it in the Facebook Live that it was bothering me, you know. So Alexandra says, are the worksheets suitable for us in the UK? Can you change the currency? I believe it is suitable for the UK. I would recommend you click on the link, look through it. I think in the videos that the training videos I was watching, that she does reference that if you are from a different country, I think if you email her after you purchase, she will hook you up with the right format. I don't know the details, Alexandra. I'm not the creator of this. I'm just a fan. I'm sure she has an FAQ. Click the link and you'll see it. Or you contact her on her website. Again, the link is there. Paperboard Spark has an add-on for Amazon sales. Yes, I use that one, and it's amazing. Okay, so thank you for your comments, guys. So let's get into it. I want to discuss why my second Etsy shop failed. Now, I'm not scared to admit that, because I have very clear direction as to why it did. And I was very aware that I was allowing it to happen, and you'll see why. And it's not something I recommend for most people. I was, but if you don't want your Etsy shop to fail, then listen up. Because see this mistake happen even when people don't have more than one Etsy shop or multiple things on their plate. Okay? Or even if you do have multiple things on your plate and you don't want it to fail, it might, based on what I'm going to tell you. All right? Hold on. So I'm going to start off by telling you why I opened the Etsy shop. So I have my regular Etsy shop, great. Amazonshop.com, whatever. So I had to open a second Etsy shop. It was the year that I went on spring break vacation to, I think, Disneyland. And so when was that? I have no idea. Probably 4 years ago? I don't know. Okay, approximately 4 years ago, let's just say. So right before I went on vacation, I opened the Etsy shop. We prepped for it before spring break happened, and me and my assistant, my old assistant, and we launched it while I was on vacation. It was a printable shop, so I was able to launch it while I was on vacation. Cool, right? Okay, so it doesn't really matter what it was, but I will tell you what it is. It's a wedding, no, sorry, it wasn't a printable shop. Sorry. Time out. No, I didn't go to Disneyland that year. Okay, I don't know the exact details. It was a long time ago. It was not a printable shop. That was my third shop. Adios that. I was done with that a long time ago. I was like, I don't got time to keep up with this. Anyway, it was a wedding shop, wedding signs, wedding greeting cards. You guys know, the whole thing. Will you be my bridesmaid card? All that jazz, okay? I remember still launching it when I was about to go on vacation, but I think it was because I had like a 3-day or 4-day weekend. I was confident that I was able to fill it when I get back. Anyway, so that's that. I'm gonna get straight to the point. Okay, we launched it. We had tons of items. I really hit the ground running. Of course, I utilized my own SEO strategies. Again, I failed to put the correct title on this Facebook Live. I should look to my SEO webinar. If you go to thehandmademastermind.com, click on courses, you'll see the Etsy SEO webinar. My method, I applied it, and immediately when I launched my shop, I was getting views, I was getting sales. Okay, that's not a strange thing. I expected it. Okay, great. I was very excited. So that's great. It started to do really well. My first month I started mid-month. Okay, so skip that. I think a month later or 2 months later, again, it's been many years, I did like $5,000, $4,000. It was doing well. Okay, so it was making money. It was doing well. However, at that time, I was only staffed, me and one assistant. My husband wasn't even with us at the time, okay? Limited staff. I had Amazon rolling at that time, my regular Etsy shop, my .com. I mean, things were happening. And I had this other Etsy shop. Now, and we were designing new product. I mean, we're doing things. So the issue is that I put my Etsy shop on the back burner. Now, you might say, well, Dahlia, don't worry about me. I don't do that to my Etsy shop. I'm always working on it. But let me explain what it was that made it fail, okay? First, when things expire, because you know Etsy, after 3 months, things expire if it doesn't sell. I just renewed without considering refixing SEO if it needed to be, okay? Or re-looking at the listing to see if I could improve conversion rates, okay? I've done many Facebook Lives on this type of stuff to help you address each one. But nonetheless, I was like, okay, so I never got a chance to do that. I just relaunched them, okay, renewed them. And more importantly, as wedding trends changed, and you know what I'm saying, every season, new wedding trends come out, blah, blah. I never grew with it. I had the exact same items for years. And so let me put it in perspective for you. I launched my shop with, I don't know, hundreds of items, and I never, ever, ever added something new to it. Now you might say, that's not me. I had some things new, but you have to understand that I was a very extreme case, okay? And the reason why, I was very aware I was doing this, because I launched it. I mean, we're all here to make money, right? To make money, but I didn't have the dedicated time or the staff to dedicate to it. Let's just be honest, okay? I do a lot of things, and it was on low on my priority list, because you might say, well, Dahlia, you know, making money, why don't you prioritize it? It's low on my priority list. While it was good money, it was not as good as my other revenue streams that I kept focus on. So if I'm juggling too many balls, I take the one that makes me the least money, and I get rid of it. It's just what it is. Or I hire more people. You get the point. So I did not add a single product. Now, if you're out there, like I said, and you're like, no, I add product, but I'm an extreme. I added 0 product. And let's take Sally, a seller, as an example. She's like, no, Dahlia, I add product. But what if in a year she adds only 10 products, new products? Depending on what she sells and what she caters to and her market, that may not be enough. She may need, you know, to regularly, a few times a year, roll out new product. You know, especially if you're a business that follows trends in any way. I'm not saying that, you know, you are super, super on trends. You know, I'm not particularly, but I still have to roll out new product for the season, you know, fresh stuff. If you have a repeat business base, if you have a product that is consumable, consumable. You don't eat my product, obviously, but it gets used up. People have to come back to you. I find that because I didn't add anything new, or even if I added some, it wasn't enough to keep up with the market's needs. I did not consider that in this shop, okay? It's not because I didn't know, it's because I didn't have time. Okay, now, some of you are out there not adding new product. Maybe you don't have time. Hold that thought for a second. But I think some of you don't know how important it is to regularly not just spit out product. We're not here to say, hey, Dahlia told me to put out products a few times a year, I'm going to do that. No, it has to be very well thought out. Hold on. Sorry, I see comments here. No, Erica, your first comment did not show up, but I'll read your comment in a second. But I see it looks like people replied to you, so hold on. So you know, you look at retailers out there, and they do spring collections, they do summer collections, they do fall collections, they do Christmas collections. I don't know. You don't have to particularly follow that depending on what you sell, okay? But there has to be regular, fresh content meaning your products, that comes out regularly. And that when people are over buying a certain, you know, design, you might say, well, I don't understand. It used to be a bestseller. We've all heard that, right? Whether from ourselves or from other sellers, we've heard it. Oh, it used to be a bestseller, sometimes we could revive a bestseller because it fell off, it fell off the bandwagon way too soon. But sometimes we cannot, and sometimes it's hard for us to accept that it's no longer cared for by the market, and for many different reasons. We can't go into the minds of our customers and say, hey, why'd you stop buying this? We just can't. So I find that regularly bringing fresh, I keep saying content, but products, content out into the market is very helpful. Revives your shop with new products. Etsy loves new listings. Revives your shop with new SEO. Obviously, if you are launching new product, it's probably imperative, and I did a Facebook Live on this a long time ago, that there's a reason why you should get rid of old underperforming products in your Etsy shop. Very purposeful reason. And because if it's not selling, it's taking up the space of the potential new product and letting them shine, okay? And so, my throat's very dry today. So my Etsy shop failed because I've never put one new product in it. I just had my base, which was several hundreds of products, launched it, and that was it. And I let that ran its course really well for a while. And like I said, even though I added 0 on the extreme case, you may be adding some, but is it enough? There's no magic number. I can't tell you right now what the magic number is, but are you understanding your market and adding things purposefully? Meaning, depending on your market, are you adding things based on the customer's needs? If your market happens to want, I'm trying to think of, can't think of one right now, example, but if your market happens to have trends or certain needs that regularly change, at least 3 to 4 times a year, are you rolling out good product? We're not just talking about product now, right? Because not only is it roll out product, it has to be good ones. And if you roll out a collection, we all know that not every single one of those products that you roll out is going to be a winner. It can be very hard to get every single one. But a nice portion of that should be if you're purposely thinking about what you're rolling out. If you regularly roll out product and you notice that most of them are not winners, that is a bigger problem you have. And so by rolling out new product, it doesn't solve the problem. It has to be really good ones. Anyway, and then on top of that, really great SEO. Okay, so that is why my second Etsy shop failed. My second Etsy shop failed. It was actually last year. I closed it down beginning of last year. I actually did a Facebook Live on it because I knew what I had to do to fix it, okay? I knew how to fix it. I had no time to. However, if you're out there saying my first Etsy shop is mimicking this pattern, but you have the time to fix it, you have the answers. Well, some of the answers, okay? Are you regularly giving your customers, even if it's repeat or not, fresh new content? Are you coming out with new product that nobody has done before? That's a little harder, right? Sometimes we like to follow trends and do things that everybody else does. It could be a little hard to make it more unique, but nonetheless, we try. Or do you come out with super fresh content that your target customer would love and nobody else has done it? And of course, people will eventually copy you, but nonetheless, have you been doing that? And have you been applying SEO correctly? Now, I mentioned earlier that when I let things expire, when I renewed them, I did not redo the SEO. It's a very popular question. How often should we redo SEO? So I'm not saying every 3 months, especially when something expires, you have to redo the SEO. If you have, I usually let's say at least, once or twice a year. It really depends. I do have somebody now that I've taught SEO to, like we work together on, and so she helps me with that because I can't do it alone. So she's able to take expired items in my regular shop now because I don't have that second Etsy shop anymore, and redo the SEO, again, based on my methods. But, sometimes customer behavior and the way that they search changes depending on what they're searching for, depending on trends and change, what I'm saying? And so while this product here could be, optimized for SEO a certain way, in 6 months from now, there's other words and keywords and the way, that could be said for this product that you're missing out on. And so changing it up is very helpful. Obviously, if it expired and nobody really purchased it, you have to remember that's not always just SEO, because it could have had views but no purchases. It could be also your photo. It could be the way you set up your listing. Is it set up for high conversions? There's a lot to think about. But if you take all those things I just said, that is why my second Etsy shop failed. Now, what could you learn from this? And even if your Etsy shop is not failing, if you're like, Dahlia, I'm chilling, my Etsy shop is doing pretty good, I'm happy with it, that's great. And I always have to be proactive. You guys know that. So you take what I just taught you right now in the last 10, 15 minutes and say, okay, assuming the worst, what have I not done properly? And so comment below from regular new product rollout. That's number one. Product that people want. So after you roll out product is a majority of your collections that you're rolling out. When I say majority, more than 50% of it, give or take, are people buying it? Okay. So that means when you're creating product, you're really speaking to the customer's needs. Proper SEO is number 3. So think about these I'm saying and tell me down below, what could you do a better job at? Proper SEO. Okay. Updating photos if you know, like, that photo sucks. Like, what was I doing with that photo, right? And number 5, optimizing your listings. And that's many different pieces, but optimizing your listings meaning, and help when somebody does view it, have you worked on elements of it to help get them to convert? Is it confusing? Do you have variations set up on your Etsy shop that make people want to purchase? Whatever. So from the 5 things, what could you do a better job at, even if you're out there saying, no, my Etsy shop does well? We all know that we could do a better job at something, or maybe you completely are ignoring one of these things. Let me know down below, because you guys know I'm a big fan of being proactive. And so hopefully this Facebook Live kind of opens your eyes in a way that you kind of leave today saying, you know what, Dahlia's right. I'm doing fine, but I really need to be working on this. Maybe you don't have time. Maybe you're whatever, but be aware of what you have to work on. And of course, if you end up choosing not to work on it, that's on you. But sometimes we're not aware of what we have to work on. So comment down below and let me know. I'm not sure if my first comment showed up, but curious about how PNS is different from doing your own spreadsheet. You still have to manually enter your own data, obviously. So this is how this is better. I said earlier to use GoDaddy. Love it. Pulls automatically. And cross-checking. How I can't see going back to a manual system. Okay. Let me see what the people wrote to you, Erica. Becca says PNS uses data from Etsy, so you aren't entering all your data. You pull orders from the CSV. Yeah, so you're copying and pasting. I was doing something different. I was manually adding. I did not have it set up like Paper and Spark worksheets, where I have tabs where I copy and paste in the additional tabs, and it automatically calculates everything properly in the first tab. My sheet was not as good as hers. Okay, it was not. So that's the biggest difference. The biggest. And her. If you guys know Excel, you guys could do many different formulas in it like crazy. Hers were much more smarter. The way she set up her tabs, I set mine up in a way. Anyway, hers are much more smarter. And I realized as I was putting it in, I'm like, this makes much more sense than when I was doing it. Mine was taking way longer. So the way she sets it up was easier. It's just copying and pasting, and then things are auto-calculated. Yeah, there's a few steps of manual work in there, but it flies by. Now, Erica says she can't see going back to a manual system. How it would be better? It may not be. If depending on GoDaddy, I don't know how it does it. But if you just slowly press a button and GoDaddy goes, whoop, I got everything for you, then don't change it. That takes minutes compared to maybe the system, which maybe takes. I have a lot of revenue streams, so it probably took me an hour or something, 2 hours. I don't know how long, especially with my first time I had to view the videos. But I don't think you would need to if you feel very confident in your thing. Now, if you want to save a quick buck and stop, I don't know how much GoDaddy cost, then you could, but it would cost you in time, because if GoDaddy does it in seconds and you literally have to do nothing afterwards except just look at it, then I wouldn't ask you to switch. Okay. I'm more of a control freak, and I can't use that type of service. Okay. Julianne says, I could do better at everything. I have tons of custom listings. How does that play with regular listings? I don't know what you mean by custom listings, but if you're talking about custom listings, meaning people buy it once and that's it, it's no longer available to purchase. Like if Sally wants a custom listing of this item because she wants it to be hot pink instead of silver, you know, I encourage you guys that when you do custom listings, I encourage you guys to try your best to get the person to purchase that one listing and ask them to put their custom notes in the personalization section, or additional notes, because you don't gain any listing quality by having this one listing get purchased and sold off, and then you can't resell the listing. David is busy as hell. That's awesome. Okay, Julian said yes, custom one-time purchase. So nothing to do with what I had to talk about earlier, but just a side note for you, Julian. It is problematic when you're trying to build listing quality. You may get to the top of search at one point, but the second you do and you earn that spot, you get sold, you get pushed away, and a new listing comes. And that's annoying because you worked hard to get that to the top. It's almost like people that sell one-of-a-kind jewelry. It's a very difficult market, in my opinion. Ellie says, you mentioned you were doing blog this year. Are you going to implement that with Shopify? Are you going to keep your blog on WordPress? I don't have a blog on WordPress. I was going to implement it with Shopify. However, a lot of things are happening. I'll share more with you in the next couple of weeks. A lot of changes have happened to my goals that have probably made the blog go on the back burner, unfortunately. But for a very good reason, because of the things that are happening, the changes. I'm heavily working on some things with the Amazon course. You guys know it's been updated. Like a massive update has happened to the Amazon course. And things. I'm working on big projects. So to answer your question, yes, it will be implemented with Shopify, but I'm probably not going to be able to get it done this year. I have other things I'm working on. With regards to Handmade Mastermind, that's what it is. And I really wanted to put an even focus on Handmade Mastermind this year, as well as my e-commerce. Sometimes it doesn't play that way, you know? Awesome. So I want to end with this. I want you to think about the things I said today, besides the bookkeeping worksheet, because that's just amazing. But the second Etsy shop, why it failed. And anybody on this call today, right, or watches on the replay, there should be no excuse for you in the future to have ever run into an issue like I did with my second Etsy shop. Now, of course, lack of time is still lack of time, proper lack of time, meaning, you know, if you don't have time for something, it's usually because you have your priorities are not right, for the most part. And for me, my priorities were right. That was just the last priority for me, and I got rid of the shop. But since you're equipped now with knowing, in a nutshell, what you have to do to make sure your Etsy shop doesn't fail, okay, in a nutshell. And if you walk away today, and then in months from now, things start to happen that lead you toward that path, shame. Because I'll just call it out. Like I spend every Tuesday with you guys because I really want to help you. And these Facebook Lives are free. But I hope that you take this information and utilize it, because everything I say on these Facebook Lives is really valuable information for the most part, because not everything applies to you depending on who you are. But it's useful if you apply it, okay? And that's what I want. Now, when you're looking at a time like this where a virus is happening and a lot of businesses have changed and all this stuff, you could have easily looked back and said, okay, I could have done these changes prior and been proactive to make sure nobody could have predicted this is going to happen, you know? Sorry. But trying to be proactive is the best thing. I don't want people to live in fear. It's just that I'm always, and I don't think about it like this, but I'm always acting like, but not in fear though, because I went way past that. Always acting like somebody's trying to take my money, or that's a bad way to say it. That I'm not guaranteed the money I currently make today, tomorrow. So I'm always doing things, right? But I mostly do it because I enjoy what I do. But I can't help but be proactive. It's just who I am. Julie, you must be new here. I don't really share my Etsy shop, but if you dig around, you probably find it. I don't, and let me explain why, especially for people that are new. I don't condone sharing your Etsy shop name, sharing links, etc. Because it inflates views, and that's not good for your conversion rate. That's something we should all know, right? It's number one, and for other reasons. But particularly in this group, we don't share names and links. But I'm not a stranger for people trying to, unfortunately, copy me. It's unfortunate, but you know, it's what it is. Yeah, Julie, you're new to the group, I'm sure. I haven't seen your name before. Welcome. Becca says that she doesn't normally share that because, oh, there you go. She already answered it for her. Cool. But again, if you do some digging, you'll find it. So that's that. I hope you guys are staying safe. I'm very excited to do this Facebook Live. I didn't do last week's, but I did share that video with you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Got some bad news before I end this call. My brother called me yesterday. He tested positive for the virus. He's in New York. So that sucks. He's doing okay though. He knows something was really wrong when he lost his sense of taste and smell. And then the NYPD, he's in the police academy right now. They said, go get tested. And he did, and now he's out for a while. So yeah, he's doing okay though. Once in a while his chest has a little pressure, but otherwise he's okay. He just pretty much locked up in his room, which he always is, by the way. And my parents obviously live with him, so hopefully they stay well. And I couldn't believe it. He called me yesterday and he told me I tested positive. I was like, for what? He goes, you know. I was like, what? Because on Thursday he told me that, he goes, I feel a little warm. And I'm like, uh-oh. He's like, what does a fever feel like? I'm like, you don't know what a fever feels like? And he's like, no. I'm like, tell mom to feel your head. He's like, she's sleeping. I'm like, all right, well. He's like, oh, I'm sure it's nothing. And then he told his boss that day on Thursday, he said, go get tested. And he did. It took a few days for him to get the results. He tested on Thursday, got the results on Sunday. They called him. Later on that day on Thursday, he noticed that he lost his sense of taste and smell when he was eating something. And he knew, he just waited for the results to come. He just knew it was going to be positive. So anywho, it'll be okay. Lee says, yeah, last week's video was good. Awesome. I'm glad you guys liked it. Yeah. Thanks, Heather. My dad, he's doing okay. My brother says he feels a little warm, but he's okay. I'm only worried because my dad has asthma, and his older age, like he never had asthma when he was younger. So I told my brother, stay away, blah, blah. My dad doesn't seem too worried, so we'll see. Hopefully everything will be well. Okay. Thanks. I really appreciate that. I'm assuming my brother caught it because he was in the police academy and he's around people, and people have already been tested positive there. And the second they do, they get home and they stay home. But anyway, so, okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. It was nice seeing you. I'll see you guys next week. And that is all. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.